Talking about dying is not exactly the top of most people's topics of conversation. However, it's extremely important. What happens if you die without a will in the UK, or intestate, which in Latin basically means without testament? Well, it's a car crash for your family, okay? So in today's video, I'm gonna break it down for you what happens if you die in the UK without a will, and ideally, really what you should be doing about it. If you want to have a conversation with one of our financial advisors to get your will and everything set up, protect your loved ones, make sure the money goes where you want it to go, get in touch below and find a day and a time to help us get things secure for you. Now, what happens if you die without a will? Well, in effect, you die intestate and the rules of the government apply, which effectively mean the first £322,000 of your estate plus personal belongings will automatically pass on to your spouse, husband, wife, etc. If there's any assets or estate over that, the remaining 50% of that will also still pass on to your spouse, partner, husband, and only the other remaining 50% of that will pass on to your children. Now, there's lots of permutations and charts of what will happen if there's no children, if you don't have a spouse. Could it even go to your parents? There's all sorts of permutations. But the main point is that you will have no control. And it's not just having no control, it's also pretty selfish. If you have an estate or if you have family, imagine the type of turmoil it can leave behind if your family doesn't know who you wanted the money to go to. It's your money, it's your estate. You need to be able to decide, and you can clear up a lot of family disagreements, arguments. It could go on for decades if you don't make this clear from the beginning. So if you don't have a will in place in the UK, like many people in the UK don't have a will in place, it's really a good time to get started, get it finished, get it done. It doesn't take that long. What's most important is actually sitting down and thinking, what do you want to happen? It's not really our job here at Cameron James to say, you should do this or you should do that. When it comes to inheritance tax planning or things like that, we can provide our input, but really what you want to happen with your money is a very personal decision. That's the most complex part of actually working out what you want to happen. We then formalize that into a draft will for you to review. Once you've reviewed the draft will, you approve it, it then goes off for finalization and it's then sent to you for your physical signature to be put on file. Wills are one of those things that are still quite old school, obviously for a very good reason, of lots of signatures being needed to actually make sure that it's valid. And that's another really important point. The amount of people who die in the UK thinking they have a valid will when actually it is not a valid will. Or even worse, they wrote the will at the beginning in such a specific way that it didn't catch all of their assets. So if they wrote physical amounts or this exact property and this exact property, compared to a will which is all cumbersome. So whether you have a property, whether you don't have a property, it relates to your estate, and what your estate is worth is a will that can last the test of time, so to speak, because you may have some assets, you may have other assets, but it's actually your estate, which is often the most important thing. And of course, in a will, you can decide what personal belongings you want to go to who. You can get a little bit sentimental. If you had a specific watch or something you really wanted to pass on one member of the family, you can put that in the will and make sure it happens and can actually leave a bit of positivity behind when you pass away. I hope it's been a useful video for you today. And obviously, it's a really important topic to reach out to us on, get it sorted, and we look forward to helping you.